Welcome to Mastering Astral Projection versus Lucidology. So, I haven't posted in quite a while, and to be honest with you, I have stopped doing the Lucidology. The reason being is that it was really screwing with my sleep patterns. I kept trying to use the timer, and I would wake up in the morning after a night of having used the timer and just feel like somebody beat me up while I was sleeping, and I got really tired of it. And one of the things that I found with Lucidology is, Mr. Newport's a really intelligent guy, but the structuring of Lucidology 2 is not really cohesive. He took Lucidology 1 and gave it away for free, and it's structured very well as you move through it, but when you pay for Lucidology 2 and you start trying to step through it, it's very random. You have a limited amount of time to download all the information, but it doesn't follow a sequential order, at least not one that is really easy to follow. It's almost as if he was bringing in all these different concepts and kind of throwing them at you one after another and explaining them so fast, but not really giving you guidelines by which to follow the program. It was more like, and the other thing that kind of I sensed, which was that he was already having the out-of-body experiences, and then he was improving upon it. If you haven't already been having the out-of-body experiences, it makes the program very difficult to follow because they're all things to refine the technique. So unless you've been able to get out of your body already, I didn't find it to be a very persuasive format to follow, other than using the timer, which didn't work for me. So if the timer doesn't work for you and you don't already get that first impulse to get out of the body, that, from what I've heard from different people, once you've done that first one, it kind of changes the game for you. I still haven't been able to have the first one. It's been months. Crazy, right? So one of the things that I did do, though, was I actually contacted Robert Bruce. I scheduled to have like an hour-long phone conversation with him, and we ended up talking for 6 hours. We talked over Skype in the middle of the night. I'm in California, he's in Australia. So I started the phone call at 11 o'clock at night, and it was just such an engaging phone call. Both of us felt like there was no reason to really end it. I guess he had the afternoon open and didn't have any other obligations, and I was willing to stay up all night, so I talked with him till 5 o'clock in the morning. But it was a great conversation. He's a wonderful guy, and I really enjoyed talking with him. One of the things he encouraged me to do was to just keep applying myself to his program. He insisted that I find the right chair to sit in, that I was totally comfortable in. Don't lay down so that it prevents me from falling asleep. Keep my body reclined at about a 30-degree angle. Make sure that there was a headrest. He also told me to focus solely on going deeper and deeper into a state of relaxation, as deep as I could possibly go. And then from that point, start doing the energization, no, not those techniques. Oh, sorry, I forgot the name of them. The exit methods. Go through all the exit methods that you can think of about every 30 seconds and just keep going through them. So the other thing that I have been doing is using the Brainwave Generator. Well, I wasn't having any success. I followed, what he had told me. He had said that even Brian Mercer, who he wrote the 90-day guide with, took about a year before he actually started having out-of-body experiences. He was having very similar problems that I was having. He also told me that there's a very, very small number of people, but they do exist, that don't have exit symptoms, and that I'm just one of those people, so I'm not going to feel anything. Okay, kind of sucks. I have no marker to go by, so I don't know when it's actually happening. Now, I'll tell you what I've been doing in some of the modifications that I have made. One thing that I did was I dropped using the Brainwave Generator. I realized after listening to all the recordings that there wasn't one recording that I really liked. So what I started doing was using my Neural Ambience 1. And I'm sure I've brought this up sometime before. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look on my channel, you'll see Neural Ambience. I started using number 1, and right when I started using number 1 instead of using the Brainwave Generator, I started having different types of experiences. I was getting a lot more hypnagogic images. In fact, I've had some really interesting ones. So these are hypnagogic images. Sometimes they last, a second. Sometimes they last up to 6 or 7 seconds. But they're very interesting. Somebody might say I'm having out-of-body experiences. Somebody might say I'm having some sort of lucid experience. But whatever it is, I'm having very, at least sometimes 2 or 3 during a session, and usually at least 5 or 6 a week. So that's interesting to me. The other thing that's interesting is that I am really working on the energy body. So the I don't remember what number it was. I brought in a technique that I discovered on my own, which was I can't remember. I called it the helicopter. So I imagine that I'm laying in the air in the middle of the room and I'm just spinning. I am articulating everything in the room as it's going by. I go in one direction, say counterclockwise, for about a minute or two, and I just watch furniture, CDs, books go by as I'm spinning. And then I'll stop and I'll go the opposite direction. This works really, really well for loosening the energy body. And the other thing that I'm doing is another energy body technique that I came up with, where I start loosening the feet, then the knees and the hips, and I work up the body until my entire energy body is about 6 to 8 inches to, say, the left of my physical body. And then I bring myself back into center, and then I slowly start working my energy body out to the right of my body. I'm not really good at going to the front of my body, but sometimes I can sink backwards. But I do this to break up the energy body, and once I get to a place where I really feel like I've gone deep, then I start doing the energy, the exit techniques. Now, the thing that happens here is that I get so deep that it's really hard to lock on to the exit techniques. I'll drift in and out of using them. This is where a lot of the hypnagogic experiences come in. So I know something's happening. I'm shifting in a way that I've not shifted before. I still haven't had the classic out-of-body experience where I'm popping out of my body and popping back in, but I think what's happening with me is, and I know this happens with some people as well, is that I'm going out into the astral, and I'm having really quick experiences with it, and then coming back into my body, going back into the exit technique. So the thing that I'm finding difficult is to just pop out in my living room or pop out in my studio, wherever it is that I'm doing the work. So that's my update right now. Yeah, if you have any questions, put them down below in the comments, but just wanted to let you know I haven't given up. I'm still doing this. It's still a priority for me. And I think things are moving, they are changing a little bit, and I do think there is value to Newport's work with Lucidology, as in how to reframe your mind and perceive the experience that you're having. And some of his techniques were really good for that, but I am not employing them at the moment because I really want to. Robert was really adamant, keep trying, don't give up. So I am just, and the other thing is that I want to mention is that Nicholas Newport's work is based a lot around the sleep patterns, and I don't want to do this associated with sleep. I'm an insomniac, and I don't want to screw with my sleep. I've gotten to a place finally where I'm actually sleeping decently sometimes, and I want to be able to just do conscious astral projection, and I'm getting to the point where I can, within the first 20 minutes, I'm having hypnagogic experiences. So, if I can get out of body in 20 minutes, that's what I want to be able to do, and I want to do it, from being in an awakened state. Ultimately, that's my goal. So, anyway, that's my update. Thanks.